software development is a cargo cult. Yeah, I said it. Software development's a cargo cult. It's like, well, it might not be a cargo cult completely, but all the practices I've seen since I came back to software development after 2012 were all cargo cults. And what is a cargo cult? Let's get into it. Let's get into what a cargo cult is. And I'm doing this in the frame of adventure driven development. We're going to compare and contrast some of the things. I've actually run across quite a few people who don't know what a cargo cult is. So what are you talking about, Chris?
Cargo cult is a name given to several religions which arose by tribal societies that came into contact with Western civilizations. These religions started when the technologically primitive hunter-gatherers saw Western manufactured goods for the first time, such as radios, clothing, and metals offloaded from planes, and called them cargo, which they concluded must come from their ancestors in paradise.
I don't know if they called them cargo, but that's what it was. That's what we call it. That's our stuff. Yeah, that's our stuff. They didn't call them that we called that.
The tribe's people believed that their deities and deceased relatives created these manufactured goods for them, but the white foreigners stole it instead.
Yeah, so that is their belief that these things that are coming from the sky, from these magical devices and stuff, was actually theirs. And this is actually an important part of why software development still continues to be a cargo cult, even though they're using the context of black natives and white foreigners as the context. It's the similarities are very, very apparent.
For this reason, the cargo cults began rituals around imitating what they saw the Westerners do, such as build runways for planes to land, so that they could attract the items that their ancestors allegedly created and the white people stole.
Right. Yeah, that's a key component. That it's not just they're worshiping this thing; they actually think that these things are for them. And if they only do the same things that they see the white rituals doing, and they do it with just more heart and more, that they're going to get the same stuff coming for them. It was supposed to come for them the whole time, right? They were expecting this to happen before even white people came. These things are supposed to be coming from the sky from a long time ago. And the fact that they showed up and these white people were doing it, they're like, no, we got to do the same. We can do the same rituals. We can do all the stuff and we'll get the same stuff, right? No.
Along this great ocean route, 10 cargo planes connect Hong Kong with Australia. They land each day at Port Moresby, and the cargo cult has its temples almost everywhere nearby. This is one. Its altar is standing 9,000 feet above sea level. The dummy plane is at the edge of the landing strip. At the other end, the control tower. The natives of the Roseau and Mikeo tribes are waiting for some plane to land on their strip, attracted by the bamboo model. They believe that planes come from paradise. Their ancestors sent them.
Yeah, they came from paradise. So what's going on here is these people, these native people, have this belief that these things are just being sent to them. That they weren't. That the white people that are bringing these things and these magical items, that they hadn't gone through thousands of years of killing each other and death and all kinds of wasted money and time, and people, huge religious movements back and forth, whether the earth is the center of the universe or whether we're a speck in this giant ocean of space, and killed each other over that stuff, and developed weaponry and metallurgy and chemistry and used all kinds of gas on each other, and came up with all kinds of other things, balloons that were just shot down by each other people, all that stuff to get to the point where when they showed up here, it's like, oh, that was for us. Like, I don't think so. I mean, it's bullshit we had to go through? Like white people had to go through to get that? I didn't do it. I mean, I just showed up and it was already here. For the same thing, it was but I know where it came from. I know exactly where it came from. All that junk, all that crap. The amount of murders, millions and millions of people murdered to get just the visible stuff that's flying in to actually work and operate, and all the contracts, and people send them gold bars left and right, and making up fake currencies and printing them to the moon, and defaulting on agreements, and having all kinds of borders changed, and new countries formed, and other countries going away, and complete people to ethnically cleansed off the planet. Huge gulag archipelagos that no one's even had seen any videos of because nobody took any pictures of that stuff because anybody that did got killed. Holy crap, man. And it's just like, oh, if I just do the rituals, they're going to show up. It's like, yeah, you're missing a whole other thing. Yeah, you're missing a whole bunch of contacts, which is really sad. But I'm gonna link this in to software development. Don't you worry.
But the white man, a crafty pirate, manages to get his hands on them by attracting them into the big trap.
Yeah, he was a crafty pirate. Oh, he just did the ritual better, right? Oh, that's not really what's going on. I mean, definitely crafty pirates. Oh yeah, the white people. Now that is correct. Well, that diagnosis fits. Yes, very crafty pirates killing each other over land, over property, over titles, over who gets to tax who, who gets to tax which people get ethnically cleansed, which people get removed and pushed out to another place so other people can move in. It's crazy. It's just been nuts. And also very human. Looks like this isn't just being isolated. This is going on all over the place. Anytime people got a little technology bumped, oh, they're gonna kill each other with it.
Port Moresby. You build your plane too, says the cargo cult Doctrine, and wait with faith.
I mean, I get it. Yes, this is the software development cargo cult. Though they just do all the rituals that they see on the meetings and stuff without understanding where all it, like the people involved in those meetings have a lot of other stuff that they went through, right? They went through a lot of other junk to get to the point where you're seeing the processes being developed. We're all down in here, and there's a big mess of craziness. And a lot of the stuff that we see that we find as being, the successful stuff that we use didn't start off by doing the rituals, right? They didn't start off that way. It started off in this other way that was very risky and full of failure and pain and death and just murder and like double cross, triple cross, communication systems hacked and then intercepted and decoded before the other guy knew, and was able to like have boats in places where they're ready to just gun down the U-boats that thought they got in place without being detected. All that stuff. This is nuts, man. And the people who survived that, yeah, you better believe they're kind of cutthroat pirate. They might be a little bit cutthroat.
Sooner or later, your ancestors will discover the white man's trap and will guide the planes on your landing strip. Then you'll be rich and happy.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
They wait, motionless, searching the sky.
I mean, yeah.
There is no other world beyond these mountains, so the large birds that roar up there above the clouds cannot but come from paradise. There are only their ancestors in paradise. Therefore, only their ancestors can have built the planes. The spirits of the deceased cannot know the white men. Therefore, although
that's their belief. So that they really hold on to that. So the thing will come down and land on their strip, and not the white man's strip. And it's like, I know, we all want that too. We all want the secret shortcut of just doing the rituals without going through all that crazy other stuff. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice just to have the rituals do the thing and not all that crazy other stuff of fighting to the top and scrapping, pushing each other on elbows back and forth, just you're doing this thing. Where is it here? Here it is. Risk. You're trying to climb all these people trying to climb the wall with swords and armor. Like, oh, if I put a helmet on and a rock hits me, it'll be fine. It's like, not really. No, they get a bigger rock. All that stuff. They want to skip all that stuff and go. And then, like, dude, and you expect to do battle with someone that's been going through all this stuff and willing to go through it? Like, it is crazy the amount of stuff they have to go through. To be a destroyer creator, you have to go through just a bunch of bullshit. And that's why it's very few number of people, because the societies can't handle too much of it, right? Too much of it, and the society falls apart. But that's where these people say, oh, I'll just skip all that stuff and just we'll go up to the ladder and go on top and just go take the stuff the same way. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it's ever worked.
Those wonderful things that the planes carry were meant for their descendants. They've left the mission. They've forgotten their prayers. And here they are, waiting faithfully at the doorway to the sky.
Cargo cults are marked by a number of common characteristics, including a myth that the material wealth was stolen from them by the white men that intercepted the manufactured goods.
Yeah, they intercepted and stolen, which, I mean, they do have some basis in fact, but that's not how the stuff's going to come for them, right? I mean, that may be true, but that's not how you're going to get the stuff.
Created by their ancestors, meant for them. According to these myths, these goods are intended for the local indigenous people, but the foreigners have unfairly gained control of these objects through malice or mistake.
Right. I mean, they may be partially correct, but that's not going to solve the problem of having their stuff show up, right? It's not going to solve the problem. You may be right, but it doesn't matter if you're right. What are you going to do? Well, now what are you going to do about it? It's like they identify. It's like, yes, they stole it. They for us. You took it when you shouldn't have. It's like, okay, yeah, but what are you going to do about it? What can you do about it? Can you do about it? Or have you really diagnosed what the issue is completely? Because maybe you haven't seen what actually is bringing the cargo planes. There might be something else that you may be able to inch forward to, but not by just like, I'm going to imitate them better. It's like, you go a little further, go a little deeper. And do you really want to? Maybe you're already living in paradise. Maybe you're already in a good place. Maybe you don't want to mess with all this stuff. Doing battle with this thing, going up the mountain, dicking around in here and all this doing this stuff, it's tiring. It's tiring, and that's why most people don't want to do it. Most people are the preserver types. They don't want to be like, give me the checklist, give me the ritual, give me the little things so I don't have to risk very much. Because risk is scary. There's a lot of failure involved. And to get the things that the cargo, the white man's cargo, to get that level is a lot of millions of people had to die, right? I mean, that's really what's going on. It's like, and do you really want to go through all that anyway? Ugh, I don't know. Maybe you do.
Thus, a characteristic feature of cargo cults is the belief that spiritual agents will, at some time in the future, give much valuable cargo and desirable manufactured products to the cult members. The most widely known period of cargo cult activity occurred among the Melanesian islands in the years during and after World War II. The vast amount of military equipment and supplies that both sides airdropped or airlifted to the airstrips to troops on these islands meant drastic changes to the lifestyle of the islanders.
Yeah, and that's what we experience. So when we see these big tech companies come producing all this technology, and I've been following it for a long time since I was a little kid, right? So, but most people haven't. Most people haven't been following it. They just stuff shows. Oh, Alexa, I can talk to it. Respond. It's like, yeah, I was doing that in 1979 on a TRS-80 Model 1. What? I mean, it wasn't really that much better, right? Okay, so it's like so technologies all exist, right? It's just not widely distributed, right? That's that little key phrase. So when it shows up, people are like, oh my God. So they're like, I want to do it. And then I see all this money flooding into it and all these billions of dollars being generated almost like overnight from something as simple as like, I just do a search term and it shows you the pages and I can make $1 billion on that. It's like, well, there's more to it going on than that. But I mean, yeah, so I'm just going to do mine. I'm going to do a Yahoo pages. I'm going to do Here we go.
Software development is a cargo code. Don't believe me? Ask yourself what you did the last time you entered a project, a medium to large sized software development project. You start a new project today, everybody's going to say, yeah, we're going to need Jira, we're going to need Git, we're going to need CI/CD, we're going to need XUnit, we're going to have to use Xcode, we're going to need VS Code, we're going to need YAML editors, we're going to need etc., 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 etc.
Plugins, libraries, APIs, documentation systems.
And then we're going to need to follow this particular process, Scrum. Right. Then we're going to need a program manager. We're going to need a Scrum master. We're going to have to perform grooming sessions, stand-up meetings. We are going to have to create workboard items, sprints, etc., 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 etc. Software development in 2024 is an exercise in how to join a cargo code.
Yeah, for sure.
Because none of these things I mentioned actually have any real value.
Yeah.
At some point in time, typically 20 to 50 years ago, in one particular project, they happened to provide one particular team with a specific benefit of some sort.
Yeah.
And then superstition.
Right. So what that's the thing. So what has happened is over time, different companies, different people have noticed these certain things are happening at companies naturally, organically, that were doing this adventure-driven stuff, that were going after a customer, and had a lot of risk involved, right? A lot of foolishness was going on. A lot of people were going all kinds of different directions, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But they actually only studied the ones that made it, right? That stuck, that hit, right? Like the stuff we use with Linux and Unix. I mean, these things were developed in this way, in this adventure-driven way, but all they want to see the app. They want to have some sort of categorization. It's this guy right here. It's the preserver saying there must be a system, because I've been told by academia forever that there's always a system behind businesses. So what's the system they do? Well, if you study and you can observe and ask questions, you can find out all the different things that people do when they're doing these companies to make these successful products. So they have it on the outside, but what they're doing is they're just showing the checklist of things that people are doing. But there's this massive amounts. That's like the 5%, the 2%, whatever. There's this massive amounts of tacit knowledge that you get from being down in this stuff and going in this stuff for a while, or seeing it for what it is, or making you run on a new low hanging fruit, first thing out the door. People haven't seen it this way, whatever. Then they can, when the dragon's really small, it's easy to attack it. So, but still, even when it's small, it still feels like it's this big. Like when you're going after it, just that this is the nature of it, right? So, but then they want to see, well, how did you get up there? What did you do? It's like, well, that's all this other stuff that you can't really talk and say, and it's like personality, outlook, perspective, insights that come along just from dicking around down here. And it's like you have a new idea of a way of doing something. When somebody goes, no, you can't do that. No, that's bad news. That's not good. That will never work.
Kicked in to the point where everybody else believed that we can no longer create functioning software without all of this cargo that surrounds the software project.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily imply any actual benefit for our ability to deliver working software. Right. And quite the contrary, it actually prohibits us from delivering working software.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it adds so much cognitive noise to the project infrastructure.
Yeah, unnecessary complexity is the label for it. But so this guy goes to the conferences because he's into conference-driven development, and he gets a book from a speaker he saw. He was super impressed by. The guy's got the speech down to 1 hour, just nails every single point. Has the 3-5 minutes at the end even for the questions. He's got a plant in the audience that gives him the question that he's got the perfect answer already for. Oh, you don't think that works? Oh, you don't think that happens? Oh, okay. And he's on a conference. He's on a tour. He's got a series of conferences. He's going around and doing these things and selling his book and selling his courses and selling his trainings. And this guy's just like, yes. This guy's like, I've been looking for checklists the whole time. Where has this guy been? He's got the checklist for me. All I got to do is do Agile and Scrum. And we have to do with the Jira and the OOP and you got to do the ticket and the sprint tickets and the sprint planning and all the 16 50 meetings. And then you'll have Google. It'll be Google then, right? Then you'll be Google.
As a whole, that it becomes significantly much more complex to move the project forward and actually develop working software. Software development is a cargo code.
Yeah, for sure.
There we are.
Yeah, so you just have to know it. So this is really what we're talking about. This guy here, and it's from this book called. I got this book when I was younger. When it first came out in the 90s, I thought it was hilarious because it just totally like. At the time, I was like, I thought this was like a how-to guide, but then I realized it was like it's like humorous, but it's so like on the edge of those two things because the information in it here is actually quite good. If you want to be this guy, the preserver type, and you want to live in these corporations and companies, this is the way it goes. The ethical, the lazy can be found everything. It's like there's no discrimination here. Incorrect. Don't be Superman. You gotta lay low. That's correct and incorrect. And who are the lazy? If you're truly lazy, it's like so let's do this checklist in a minute. But let's look at who's involved with this. And this is an interview with a dying company's product manager, which I have on my chart over here. Is this stuff here? The tunnels of fake agile doom and Scrum coach death marches of cargo cults. This is what I'm talking about.
Just switch up the rating box randomly so that they end up clicking on the number 5 anyway. I have meetings all the time. Usually we start off our meetings late and then talk for 30 minutes about how we're all busy having meetings, and then we rush off to the next meeting late. Then we talk about how the company's on fire, and then we rush to the next meeting late. It's pretty common knowledge that the ship is going to sink. We're just trying to delay it to repay our kids' college loans. We spend most of our time celebrating that we're still alive. Creates a good wrong tension, like in a movie, and we're the protagonists. Our customers' happiness is always our lowest priority.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's not where they get the money in the ZERP. In the ZERP, which you had for just 15 years up until like 2023, 2024, 2023, really. After the ZERP ended, and they're right around here is on the chart. Woo! That's when the ZERP ended, and all the free money went away, and all that money they were able to buy back their own stock and make the stock price go up, and then get loans off of that, and all that funny little financial business had nothing to do with getting customers or serving customers, obviously. But the software is so bad. This stuff is so terrible. It's been that way for a long time because we're not really the customer. Really, those guys are getting money from somewhere else.
Security, to protect us, is our highest priority. In the lunch break, we usually talk about how the company's on fire. This apocalyptic atmosphere is something you don't find in other companies. It's what keeps us alive. We're all dead inside. Every month, somebody gets fired.
Yeah, here it is. Right here. Every month, someone gets fired because you're getting cut. What can we cut? What can we cut to save money? Because they're good. Can you take another ticket? Okay. Oh, it's like, okay, don't. The drum, the death march. Boom, 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 boom. Who can we cut? Who can we cut?
We usually have to rehire him because nobody else is applying. And then we try somebody else.
Oh, but now they redo. But this is a couple years old.
And rehire him.
Yeah.
Layoffs. We keep our satisfaction score at 5 always because we keep changing up the rating box layout so that the only link that works is the 5. Customers are super annoyed.
Genius. This is preserver stuff. Genius level. Just keep it a little bit afloat, just a little bit longer. But we just need a little bit more.
Good. Less customers means less customer agents.
Less customers, less customer agents. Right. This is he's the kind of guy who would say, this would be a perfect business if it wasn't for all the customers. And there's, the customers is a cover story. It's a side issue. We got KPIs and all kinds of, but the customers, I don't know.
Agents. Means less cost. At this point, any attempt of innovation is hopeless. Keep silent, keep compliant. We have a whole team dedicated to calculate fees for overdrafting your account. Technically, we're a debit system, so it shouldn't be possible, but we made it possible. We have a great legal team. Our goal is always to be above market rate, so much that it hurts. Any PR is good PR. That's all we have at this point. My current project is reducing time spent on customer service. We cannot have people come back to a customer service, annoy them so that they know how bad it is. We need 100% churn. Okay, here's what we'll do. Always ask them for the customer identification number. And it's just the number we sent them when they signed up in an email years ago. Don't link it anywhere. The people who somehow magically...
Exactly. We emailed it to you years ago. Don't link it anywhere. And don't try to recover it. You trying recovering it? No, you're not. Well, we can't really move forward without that ID number, so we're gonna need you to go ahead and do the recovery process.
Get through this labyrinth, we'll get to our most incompetent employee. We'll make sure she has everything she needs. Bad internet connection, horrible microphone, and a strong British accent. A hurt customer.
Especially the British accent. It's pretty key.
It's good for marketing. Only send messages during weekdays. And make sure they can only have one active message at a time. Yeah, that'll create more churn. Make sure they cannot reopen a ticket. Never reopen a ticket. In fact,
never reopen it. God dang it. Never reopen. This is what I've been saying since every Tuesday when tech sports supposed to come out and close that thing. Never reopen a ticket. They always make me open up a new ticket, not reopen the old ticket, ever.
Make the link to reopen the ticket broken. And then we follow up with, I hope we could help you, please rate our service. And then show a rating box only with yes and no. No meaning, no, it wasn't the problem in the first place. Flag the customer. Yeah, that should work. Don't use historic data. Ban all forums. And don't tell customers how their issue was resolved. Leave them confused. Increases time spent on the app. When they want to unsubscribe.
These are all winning concepts and features that should be implemented as soon as you see as soon as you're inside of one of these dungeon one of these fake agile doom scrum coach death marches. Come on, guys, just one more week, just one more sprint, you guys, we got it.
They have to log in again, yes. Oh, we can be far from any competitive offering. We just keep changing our logo and have an annual conference to celebrate that. People are too lazy to switch anyway. We are thankful for that. The SEC calls that a monopoly. We call this a survival tactic. Business is a jungle. And we're that stable rock that people look at. They see us and they think nothing will ever.
Stable rock, right here. We are the only ones that will not move at the end. Everything wants to move around us. That's what it is.
Change. As long as they see we're still alive, they know that they don't have to change. Well, we give people a feeling of stability. Oh, I can't tell you what company it is.
No, I can't tell you what company it is. I can't do that. That's silly. That's silliness. Let's put this here. All right. So where were we? Where is it here? Let's do a little checklist. Do you have a steady job to sign up to be assigned a person of failure? Yes or no? Do you consistently remain a last in, first out work hours? Do you consider reading the newspaper to be a crucial part of your job responsibilities? Do you consider a remote control second only to the electric foot massager as the greatest invention to Western civilization? Do you refuse to own any pet requiring higher maintenance than a rock? Do you refuse the joy of parenthood unless the child is old enough to support you? Does the cold cut sandwich reside on the frontier of your culinary capabilities? Do you have PGA Golf, Flight Simulator, Civilization on your work computer at work? Do you live in an apartment complex or condominium? Refusing to submit to the bonds of homeownership. All right, silliness. Okay, so yes, cargo culting is very popular in the software development, and it won't go away because people are scared of the risk of actually doing adventure-driven development, which is very scary. But honestly, it's where all the good stuff comes from, and it can't come from any other place because of how things are set up and how these corporations are set up. They have a small run of time, and they can keep going. But these, the preserver types always have to be in there, and they just make things. I mean, we gotta have to. If it was always destroyer creator types, this place would be pure chaos. So we do need them, and they are our customers anyway. So anyway, give me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.